Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Welcome to our Fireside chat at Center Court. We've got a great guest who has a lot of global experience in business education and is really an expert in entrepreneurship as well. So let me welcome Ignacio de la Vega, who is the Dean of EGADE in Monterrey. He had also been the CEO of Global Babson, which integrates all of their entrepreneurial labs and properties around the world. He was Chief Learning Officer of BBVA for some time. And for many years, I think like 20 years, you worked at IE Business School in Madrid with my
Yep,
good friend Santiago.
you're right. With your friend Santiago, which you know what, we attended law school together also for five
Is that,
years.
oh, that's right. He is a
Yeah,
lawyer as well.
that's right. And then we met again at IE Business School. And you're right. I think I spent 21 years at IE. So
Must have been a
great
good
school.
time. Madrid's a great place to spend 21 years.
It is. Well, my home and yours is in Madrid. So definitely, yes. Great
That's,
place.
that's
Also, Monterrey, where I am based now, it's a lovely place. And Mexico is a great country. And
absolutely
definitely, lots of things also to enjoy here.
true. Now you have an incredible portfolio of MBA programs.
Hmm.
I count seven. Am I right?
Well, it's one MBA with different formats.
Yes.
So, but you're right. You're right. Might be seven, and we reorganize. And so the philosophy is we do have one MBA, and the one MBA is offered to different audiences, more mature, with more junior leaders with global or more local components in different formats, face to face, blended, online. So I believe it's the same experience cater to different professionals and entrepreneurs out there. Yeah.
And you also have partnerships on MBAs with WP Carey and UNC Kenan Flagler.
That is, we actually do have 11 double degrees with our MBA and a big number of international partners. You mentioned Arizona State, WP Carey. We also have a partnership in Peru for the Latin American market with Centrum,
Central.
UNC. We work in a consortium program at the One MBA with some amazing partners like Rotterdam Business School, University of Miami Business School, our friends from Brazil, Getulio Vargas, and our colleagues from China, Xiamen University. So yes, and on top of that, we also belong to a truly successful network, which is the GNAM, Global Network for Advanced Management.
Exactly.
Started that we were founding partners with Yale, with my friends at IE Business School, schools like IMD or London. I mean, amazing network, really extraordinary for faculty, for research, for student exchange, global network weeks. Amazing. You name it, this is one of the pillar of our international experience here at the EGADE. So yeah, we're very happy to having built over the years all these international experiences and looking forward for more, even in this post-COVID world, in which looks like some of these internationalization strategies might be adopted. We don't think so, just probably a matter of formatting them in a different way.
Right. And you have an online MBA where obviously you've had
Mm.
experience in bringing education online, which probably has significantly helped you in these difficult times.
Yeah, you're right. Also, to get this into context, let's not forget that Tecnológico de Monterrey was the
Yeah.
first university in the world to go online. Actually, Tecnológico de Monterrey was where internet was started in Mexico some few decades ago. We went first, even before I joined the school, some 25 years ago. We
Wow.
were into satellite education.
Wow.
Then it was TV, undergrad and grad education. And lately, the Tecnología Monterrey University moved probably 15 years ago into the online space. I remember in 2000, we were launching at IE Business School with your friend and my friend Santiago and some other colleagues, a Global Executive MBA. And at that time, benchmarking, Tecnológico de Monterrey was active also online.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So you're right, there's a long history behind. And at EGADE, 2 years ago, we started moving into hybrid programs. And then we move into an online space with an American partner. And now we're working on other full online and blended formats to be launched as soon as this September. Huh? So you're right. One of the things that happened on March 12th, this is when Tecnológico de Monterrey and EGADE, we did declare that we were moving into what we call flexible digital model, which means moving online, of course. That was March 12th. And on March 13th, 2,000 students at Tecnológico de Monterrey started, or not started because they were already online, but all of them moved into this space. Only 1 week after that, at Tecnológico de Monterrey, we were able to move 90,000 students in high school, undergrad, and other graduate schools within the system online. Well, let me be frank. Probably it was more remote at the beginning. We've been working at not at EGADE, but at Tec de Monterrey to move this online in the last couple of months. At EGADE, we started online. All the faculty was trained, and thanks God, we started taking decisions 3 years ago in the direction that COVID is moving us to go. So let me finish this block by saying that, in my opinion, in higher education, COVID has anticipated 5 to 10 years the plans we did have as business schools. And in many things we were not ready, in some others we were lucky to be ready. And this is where we are as an industry today, and being optimistic, taking decisions, moving, and keeping students at the center of what we do.
So tell me about your mainstream MBA program on campus in more normal times.
Right.
People can actually attend the physical classroom. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Does it have distinctive characteristics that make it different from other MBA programs?
This is what we try to do, of course. Differentiation is definitely one key success factor in any industry, and definitely in higher education and in business schools as well. So I would love to answer, and I firmly believe yes. Our MBA, let's say, mainstream program, which is a quite large program for Latin America, our face-to-face MBA program that is also changing starting in September. So it has been changing quite a few times over the last 10 months. Today, it's a 21 months program. Starting in September will be an 18 months program. Today is mostly face-to-face, offering 3 campuses in Mexico City, Santa Fe, in our Monterrey campus, both beautiful, and in our glorious Guadalajara site. So this is something quite unique. For EGADE Business School, we have 3 physical sites. And as I mentioned, the program is today offered face-to-face. It's a part-time program. Today moved into the flexible digital. So we do have 1,200 students online today. And in September, we're moving again the program to make it shorter, more specialized, hybrid, more quant oriented, and changing completely the program again. And I say again because I believe this is what we need to keep doing. I mean, why having an MBA with the same format, content, pedagogy, orientation, and differentiation for 5 years when the industry is changing 5-fold in that time? So I believe this capacity of adapting to the industry, of course, with rigor and in a very bold way, is something that characterizes pretty much our EGADE MBA. 2 more differentiators. One is what the type of students we are looking for, and this relates to our mission as a school. one of the main things we do is develop entrepreneurial. We call them omnipreneurial leaders.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be the owner of that word, the omnipreneur, but this was borrowed by a colleague of mine, a Saudi philanthropist and great businessman, Amar al-Dabah, who wrote a book, Omnipreneurship, that I recommend everybody. And this is the same thing that at Babson we call entrepreneurs of all kinds. Mm-hmm. So one of the differentiators at the EGADE Business School is that we develop omnipreneurial leaders. Meaning by these, might be entrepreneurs, might be corporate entrepreneurs, might be innovators within companies, might be any other thing related to organizations. What about governpreneurs? The second big thing is our search for leaders or future leaders to be. And for us, a leader is the one that is going to make a positive change. And this is related to the purpose also of our organization, of our business school. And we firmly believe that we are here also to change the world. And as we cannot do that as a business school, our responsibility is to impact in those that are going to change the world for a better. Those are our students. So right. If you combine all these differentiators, and then you get a quite attractive MBA, by the way, that I recommend not only to Mexican and Latin American students, but to students from all over the world. 60% of our offering today is in English, and only 40% is offered still in Spanish or in bilingual formats.
I see. Mm-hmm. And when you change to a more blended format, what percentage of the learning will occur online versus face-to-face?
Today, in our model in September, it's going to be something like 70-30, mm-hmm. But the change goes a little bit beyond the format. It goes also around the way in which the experience is sort of delivered. So, of course, in an MBA program, you have to a two-sided equation. We have students, we have faculty, in the middle we have pedagogies and educational model, that in our case is quite untraditional as well, and I will elaborate on that, what we have been doing over the last 18 months at Tecnológico de Monterrey and EGADE with Tech 21st educational model. So the program goes around all these basic elements. What we also introduce in our what we call alternative EGADE elements into the equation. Those are more developed for non-graduate students, talking about micro-credentials, micro-masters, things like EGADE capsules, products that we're developing like Live Online, which are portions of knowledge or skills. A product we just launched, it's called Boost Your Skills, which is part of our new flexible model. So when you combine the more traditional approach to education and classroom sessions with all these different pieces of education, you get a much more rounded and robust impact on your students. So this is what it's on our program starting in September. As I mentioned before, 18 months, 70-30, much more quant approach that we were introducing in our programs for the last few years. And hopefully in a very large, diverse attraction effort to students all over our communities, John.
And are you putting more quant in the program because of the new focus on data analytics in business? Is that why?
This is one of the reasons. Mm-hmm. Second reason is, what is the profile of professionals that are highly demanded in the market? And we started working on data and other aspects on the quant equation of the MBA program 3 years ago. We are actually launching, it's not an MBA, it's a Master on Data and Analytics in January 2021. So we've been learning a lot, developing some faculty, getting some part-time faculty to help us support the equation, and then moving in a much more decisive way. So our MBA will have a few different concentrations. One of them will be data, definitely we will keep our focus on other concentrations like entrepreneurship or corporate entrepreneurship and leadership. But yes, I think data, the quant view of business is today more important. And I don't know if it's more important than the other basic move that we started 2 years ago, which is skill-based learning. So how do we also transform our model to develop not only learning, but skills? And when you talk to any given industry, I remember having a meeting at Bloomberg in New York, talking to the HR guy, big head. Michael Bloomberg was around. He didn't join us, unfortunately. It would have been a great experience. And we have 400 graduates at Bloomberg, Tecnológico de Monterrey and EGADE graduates. And so we were elaborating a little bit about the evolving profile of their hirings and how from, pure financial mindset, they were moving into different set of things. And the HR head was mentioning the top 5 things that they were looking in your hirings. And none of them was having an MBA. None of them was having sound financial skills. So he was talking about things like entrepreneurial mindset, the power to take decisions in complex scenarios, working in remote, technology, teams, things like these, those skills. And my question was, that's great. And I mean, you're in the finance and in the technology industry. Do they need to have any financial background? And that was the clarification. That was very strong, also to understanding how we are evolving our programs. If they are not the best financial minds out there, they will never get to the interview in which we will learn they have developed all these powerful skills.
Right.
So this is also something we definitely bringing into the programs. That was part of our Tech 21st strategy. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's an amazing conversation, maybe for another fire chat in the future.
Yes. And Ignacio, if I were to ask your students what would be the high points of the MBA program, what would they say?
You mean
like, do you have experiential learning? I'm sure you do.
You mean the differentiator somehow?
Yeah, I mean things that really stick out for the students.
Right.
That seem to really be vivid memories for them after they leave.
Right. I mean, the experience definitely something that today has been transformed by COVID-19 is the campus experience, of course, the access to the classroom, their colleagues, the facilities, the faculty. So this is something we're sort of replicating quite successfully, let me tell you, through our flexible model that goes quite beyond the remote teaching. But give you some context. EGADE is, as part of Tecnológico de Monterrey, brings 2 main things into the equation. And I think we mentioned that before, entrepreneurship and leadership. Those are pillars of our program, not only the MBA programs, but other academic offering we do have. So building entrepreneurship and innovation and positioning our students at the center of the equation is what we do. For this reason, EGADE has been definitely recognized as one of the top business schools, as you know, in Latin America and in the world in the last few decades. And this is very connected to what we believe is a very strong mission. We are in the business of higher education to empower entrepreneurial leaders to generate share value and transform society. So I could say, what do they take? They take all the things that you mentioned. Of course, we're in the business of experiential learning. We're in the business of hiring the best faculty we can pay, of making the most diverse student body and faculty body. But at the end of the day, one of the takeaways of the school is a fresh look at how we can impact the world, how we can create more conscious business economies, which is extremely important in a context like Mexico and Latin America, countries in which, as you know, there's lack of opportunities, corruption all over the place, poverty, 50 million people in Mexico living under the poverty UN rate, a lot of informality in business. So how do we come up with a different definition of capitalism? This is something that we bring in as a university, this is something we bring in as a school, and this is something that our students are helping us to redefine. I mean, is this shareholder capitalism good enough for fixing the problems we do have as societies? We had no doubt 2 months ago or 3 months ago before COVID. Now I think that the picture is even more clearer. So when I was saying we are in deep trouble as humans, as societies, as business schools, we've been confined at home for 50 days today. Still, there is a big light out there. And we will come back to the new normal, whatever it is, because we need to build it. You, me, our faculty, our students will be the one building this new normal. We need to come to this new normal with a complete different vision of what we do. I've been in the last couple of years, I mean, not in the last couple of years, all over my career, I've been lucky to be, lecturing and giving presentations all over the world. The focus for the last couple of years was on 4 main trends of change that we were envisioning in society. That definitely we bring also in what we do at EGADE. And to make it very short, we're talking about how technology is changing everything. I started many years ago talking about that, right? The way we learn, the way we work, the way we communicate, the way we entertain, the way we discuss today through this tool that is becoming one of the most hated and used in the world. So how technology was shaping our world.
Very true.
Second big thing, how talent was changing the way organizations behave and making a real competitive advantage. And if we ask Michael Porter today, we'll probably say, oh, I was wrong. The only sustainable competitive advantage of organizations was talent. How talent was behaving in a completely different way. You know, home officing, remote, much more assigned by task instead of by contract. Things that we were looking at in the US, in some other societies, and that have been transformed by these last 2 months. Third big thing we were bringing to this discussion is the way we learn. We're saying, this is great. I mean, the degree-oriented education will be with us forever, but we need something else. I mean, you and me, I'm a bit younger than you, I hope. We went to school, we work, maybe we went back to school for a graduate or a PhD thing. We work, we retire, play golf, do some consulting, that was it. Do some teaching here and there. Today, the world is completely different. It was different before COVID. So think about now. And this thing about career long learning and the need to keep updated and ready and transform and upskill and reskill and you name it was big 3 months ago. Today makes a complete difference. So how we work, how we learn now, online, different, shorter, more impactful, more specialized. And the fourth one that I was bringing into the equation in my talks was purpose. And are we in the world to make money? Seriously? Is this all about it? I'm not saying that making money is not great. I'm not saying that companies do not need to make money. Of course they do, as much as they can. Without profitability, there is no business, there is no industry, there is no government, there are no taxes, there's no public education. But this is not the only thing, right? So bringing this conscious business, we created at EGADE a center in conscious business with our colleague Raj Sisodia from Babson. So we were working on these 4 mega trends just 3 months ago. Look at how COVID has made each of these 4 even more relevant today.
Very true.
It was my comment before. I mean, this has brought our plans for 2030 today.
Yeah, definitely. And what types of students do you look for? What kinds of qualities do you look for in your students?
Um, I mean, as
I
most
would
of the
imagine,
schools,
I would imagine you'd want a sort of entrepreneurial mindset, given how important entrepreneurship and innovation is at the school.
right. Definitely, this is one of the things we look at, and sometimes not that easy to spot that on a
Yeah.
GMAT or on a traditional admission test. So, as many schools, we don't have a holistic admission process, and we're looking for a few things. I mentioned before, I mean, if you give me the perfect student, is a leader or a leader to be. A leader able to generate this shared value approach, this conscious business approach, uh, sharing the search for profitability and innovation and success and brilliancy with transforming the communities we do serve for positive. So this is one of the things that is today in our holistic process. Second thing is people with this innovation entrepreneurial mindset. That doesn't need to be an entrepreneur, right? Might be someone who is challenging the status quo, someone who is able to shape the future.
Mm-hmm.
This is very relevant today, in my opinion, John. We can keep complaining about, oh my God, my generation, we got the 2008 crisis. Now we get in this and become a victim. Or we can take a different position and become a protagonist and a leader to make the better of this situation. So this is something that is in the profile we're looking for. Definitely, we're looking for a diverse class. Mm-hmm. And sometimes this is not that easy in societies like Mexico, Latin American, especially when you are in the face-to-face business. Mm-hmm. Once you transition into the online, you're acquiring a much bigger positioning to bring students from all over the world. I mean, you have time frame issues and things like this. We're moving to online. We move more than 60% of our programs in English. So we're ready for that, and we're increasing international diversity in our students, in our faculty. So nationalities, work experience, background, academic formation, interest, abilities. This is what you need to do. You know, put a bunch of bright, different, diverse guys in the classroom. Put some good faculty, some nice educational model, and definitely all these things we do, like experiential learning, challenge-based learning, and you make it. You make the impact. You make things happen. So this is what we're looking for. And as I said before, this is a holistic process. I don't think that any test can really spot what we're looking for in our students in any school, but we need to start somewhere. And this is how we run this thing. Have a pretty good GMAT and TOEFL performance in our students. So we have a very competitive, I could say, admissions process.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what kind of career outcomes do the students have who graduate?
We didn't know what our graduates at Tecnológico de Monterrey have been doing for 75 years. Of course, we run all these, general surveys every year to see where the graduates were.
Sure.
But we wanted to have much more information. So a couple of years ago, we took a very wise decision. In our 75th anniversary as a university, we hired QS to do a in-depth survey of where our graduates and what the impact of our graduates have been in these 75 years. It was a very amazing piece of work, and we found out things we suspected, but we didn't have the data. We found out that 41% of our tech graduates, including the EGADE graduates in a very large manner, were into the entrepreneurial business. Oh, wow. Either as independent entrepreneurs, as partner of existing companies, running family businesses, which is in Mexico and in many Latin American countries an important source of wealth, as you know, having generated 3 million jobs worldwide. Huh. And their annual sales equaling 20% of Mexican gross national product.
Wow.
So that was 41% of our students. We had another 15% that were in the social entrepreneurship field. So they had created nonprofit organization, and then the rest were working for corporations all over the world. Quite international, I could say. Exposure, companies like Coca-Cola or IBM or the Google, LinkedIn, Dell, Deloitte, Toyota, Honda, a lot of car makers for obvious reasons. So working either in Mexico or somewhere else for Mexican, international, and transnational companies. So it was a very good picture. We really were proud of having all these much more detailed findings, and helping also network or offer increasing opportunities for networking to our existing students, understanding where exactly our students were. Of course, LinkedIn had helped a lot to spot where they were working and all that, but now we do have a very precise information. So this is where they are. And what I hope is that they're doing great under this COVID-19, that they are all safe and their families, and that they are happy and that they are optimistic.
Exactly. Right.
This is what I really hope for all our Exatech EGADE.
And do you think this is a good time to get an MBA? As you probably know, in the United States, there have been a number of years of decline in MBA applications. Historically, what happens is during a recession, typically many people go back to graduate school. What's your view on that? Is this a very good time to get an MBA? Is it just an okay time? What's your sense of it?
I mean, you're absolutely right. I started working in education in 1989. So I have seen a few crises going through, and you're absolutely right. I mean, one thing we find out, which is very interesting, is that in terms of crisis and unemployment, people go back to school. And this is a very wise investment.
Yep.
How do I prepare myself? How do I differentiate myself? How do I today enrich knowledge needs to be changed, updated, upskilled, and reskilled every month? It's a great investment. So my answer to your first question, is this a good time to do an MBA? It's the perfect time. I'm not saying it's the easiest. I'm saying it's the perfect time. So this is what has happened in 30 years. When companies were not supporting students were finding ways to get the financing to get back to school. By the way, at Tecnológico de Monterrey, we put together in just a couple of weeks a financing package for all our students. And I think we've been impacting something like 4,000 in the last month, helping them to either go back to school or start in the new intakes. Today, I was welcoming our EGADE April intake at the MBA in our Master in Finance program. 250 really brave students that have decided that, yes, this is the right moment, and that they know they're going to be online for at least until summer. And might be the chance that we start fall online, not remote.
Right.
Which is a big difference. So
there is a big difference.
So yes, it is. I don't think there is a bad time for developing ourselves, for improving our skills, our knowledge, our competency-based positioning, differentiating, increasing our networking, and being exposed to what's going on in the world. So.
Right. So when this pandemic is over, do you think there will be any kind of meaningful change in business education that will outlast the pandemic? What's your view of the future of business education?
John, my view is that the future of business education started many years ago. And those that were not thinking about how the future was going to look like, to be honest, I don't think they will make the pandemic. And we're going to see a lot of concentration, closing of business school. Very good business school, unfortunately, all over the world will be forced to close. And I think we've been sort of navigating this wave of continuous growth and success and thinking that we had the magic recipe. That was wrong. This is what I mean. Future started many years ago. We were thinking in a completely different world in which education was, of course, as relevant as ever,
Right.
but not the traditional educational model that we were sort of selling out there. The 2-year MBA case-based method that works for Harvard because they HBS and we can do anything, it will work. It doesn't work for most of the schools all over the world.
Yes.
So we need to understand our industries, our markets, and we needed to start being bold and innovative. COVID is accelerating these from 5 to 10 years, depending on the geography. So I don't think there is going to be a complete different educational model for business school. I am positive it will be. Otherwise, we will be irrelevant. We won't have students, and we will be reinventing as other businesses in the future. Again,
true.
This is what we started many years ago, thinking first on our 2020 transformation plan, and then in our 2025 EGADE transformational plan. That, by the way, will happen tomorrow, because most of the things that we were planning for 2025 will need to happen now, next year.
Right, exactly. Ignacio, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I really enjoyed your perspective on business education and the MBA.
Thank you, John. Great pleasure. Good luck in the coming weeks. And again, we'll be stronger. And we'll keep chatting about how COVID is transforming us. So pleasure talking to you, John. And
thank you. And I hope to
meet
you in person someday.
we did in Vegas.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
we should have a nice dinner. You, me, and Santiago when he comes over.
That's right. And our friend Felix.
That's right. Exactly. Of course.
Communication. Right.
Yeah.
So yes,
exactly.
we'll have more opportunities. I am pretty sure that having dinner with colleagues will be possible.
Yeah.
Soon. Maybe with a mask at the beginning. We'll see how it works.
So hard to drink wine with a mask.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah.
That's Ignacio de la Vega from EGADE Business School in Monterey. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for joining us at Center Court.